removing negative energies. Well, I'm sure by now you've realized that life has quite a bit of duality, quite a bit of the dark and the light. So we're always going through that range. But when it gets really extreme, it actually impacts our energy field. So when we're really receptive, such as being a young child, what can happen is that our parents have all this heavy emotion of stress, and it comes out as anger to us. Then it goes into our energy field, into our conscious mind, then over time into our subconscious mind, so that we actually believe what they're saying. But almost these emotions are so harsh sometimes, they come at us like darts. They're known as psychic darts. They actually stick in areas of our energy field. And as a healer, a lot of times it can be seen as dark spots. Things that you can tell the energy body is out of harmony with. So what we do as energy healers, and we've taken some very, very intense education on this 3-year intensive at Dr. Michael Harner's shamanic program to really remove these psychic darts almost as weeds in our energy field that you can remove out by the root. A lot of things that we do by ignoring them, numbing those feelings down, we're just mowing over those weeds. But with deep energy work, it's just going in and removing them out by the root so that that pattern that's stuck in you no longer replays. An example would be, let's say growing up I was really bullied. And every time I went to school, I was told how awful of a person I was, how weak I was, how ugly I was. Just all these things that told me I was unworthy. And then the bullies would take my money or my backpack, my belongings. Feeling very deflated, feeling very powerless. So as I grow up, I'm very triggered by these things. There's an energy pattern that I'm powerless, I'm not worthy in my energy field, and it's like a weed. So what could happen is later in life, let's say I have a meeting at work and I invite everybody there, and all of a sudden one of the people at this meeting goes, you know what, I just want to grab something from the vending machine. Do you have any money, any cash? And something triggers in me. This poor innocent colleague of mine just wants a little money to maybe get a Snickers bar for the meeting, but it goes and triggers and hits. It's the same energy that matches that energy pattern I've got stuck. So it triggers that dormant energy pattern to all of a sudden play, and it dumps into the nearest chakra and sabotages my central nervous system. I might get enraged. How dare you take something from me? And go into a spiral that I can't pull out of. Well, that's what can happen if we don't weed our garden, our beautiful illuminated energy garden. So removing psychic darts, removing intrusions. But also there's one that's not really talked about, and it's the most important: entities. When a person dies, from whatever reason, sometimes a traumatic death, sometimes they just die and somehow become lost in this world. They remember that they have a body, but they're confused. They don't know that they're dead. They can actually come into us like an Airbnb we didn't even know, and come into our body. This is not an energy, it is a soul with a consciousness. So let's say I'm going through a hospital and I'm weakened, or I go under surgery and I'm under anesthesia. A lot of the most traumatic deaths happen in hospitals. So souls are wandering around. They can come into your body. Let's say I live next to a rest home, another hot spot. Let's say I'm just wandering through a park and I'm feeling very depressed and sad. Well, what could happen is through our lives we have certain traumas, and parts of our soul actually becomes defragmented. So without a whole energized soul, entities can slip in. So a lot of times if you feel that there was a certain instance that you became highly anxious or depressed or suicidal or angry, and that feeling doesn't go away. Dreams just aren't yours. Feelings don't feel like they're yours and don't have a rationale behind them. Possibly it could be an entity inside. Most of these souls are just lost. So what we do is compassionate relocation. When you're here, you're in a bubble of the highest vibrational energy, ascended masters of light, angels of light. What we do is merge heaven and earth together. Talk with the entity as a soul, as a living, breathing soul that used to exist here. Understand it and offer it a path that is not in your body, a path in the heavenly realms. Then the angels of Psychopump take over and simply guide it on its way. Sometimes our pets can even pass on and actually end up integrated in us. So there's a lot of different possibilities, and it is a big universe. The spirit realm is very wide, and there's infinite realms as well as infinite multiverses. So we have a lot of layers of who we are. But once these entities are removed, then it's filling in that area it occupied with your soul, bringing all the pieces of your soul back in, which is known as soul retrieval. Then you're energized. Then bringing that power animal. Yes, we have power animals and spirit guides. A power animal is something that we're born with. Sometimes we have a totem animal. Sometimes a lot of power animals. And what that animal is just bringing in energies that we lack. We decided to have certain challenges in this life, but then using our free will, we can call all those energies back into us. So when you're infused with your power animals, the animal energies that we lack, such as, let's say I wanted to come in with a disease at some level. So maybe multiple sclerosis. I come in very weak as a child. And maybe my power animal is a silverback gorilla. When I integrate those energies of silverback gorilla in me, all of a sudden that chronic disease starts to become less and less. Also, the mass of my body, my nervous system, everything that was out of harmony literally starts to go into an optimal physical, mental, and spiritual stage. This is what our ancestors did. So this has been around since the dawn of humankind. And then once your soul is whole and energized, you have your power animal back in you, that's when all the lower levels of self start to become organized into the highest vibrational potential of you.